Woke up today, smile on my face. May not go my way, still got my face, so I'll be okay.
All right, so here we are, guys. We got my man, Alec Cheplak, in the house. Man, I'm so honored to have you, and I mean that from my heart. I know we've been doing a lot today, right? He just spoke to our team, but what a beautiful moment that we had with you and your son, AJ. And I just appreciate, and I actually just posted that video, like, your willingness to be vulnerable in that moment. Right? It was a beautiful thing, and it was a sincere thing, and I'm glad you're here so we can have a conversation about life, a conversation about business, and I think also a conversation about overcoming.
100%.
Because the speaker lineup that we have for tomorrow, as you already know from Damon West and yourself and me, a bunch of overcomers. So welcome, Alec Cheplak.
Yeah, thanks for having me, dude. It's a blessing. I get the chills. I'm really grateful. I believe that God allows us to go through great challenges so we can look at them as a classroom for growth.
Yeah.
If we miss that, we miss a huge opportunity.
Yeah.
And then our growth can be a gift to share our message to be growth for others.
Yeah.
And so it's cool how we got connected, actually.
Yeah.
We have like similar past challenges we battled through, and I got to speak at KFR at the ranch, and you happened to be there and pulled me aside, and I just felt
Instantly.
like it was alignment.
Yeah.
And it's from the great challenges that I overcame that were very similar to yours, and it just clicked immediately, and now here we are doing epic things.
It is pretty wild, it's like I always feel like God brings people together, the right people together, but also at the right time. Right, because I could have met you at an event 2 years ago, and it wouldn't have had the same impact as now. And by the way, his dad has been personally coaching me since 2017 and still does to this day. And now Alec is coaching me. Right, so it's just amazing how that works, and the timing of it all, I think, is really epic. And so here we are, not only speaking to our team today, which was a great message, by the way, and then the winner's circle tomorrow with an amazing lineup of speakers. And I always feel like when I do these events, I'm excited to bring speakers together, right? People that are impacting others, but maybe you guys haven't met yet. So you got a chance to meet Damon West, who spent freaking 7.5 years in federal prison, sentenced to life. You've had your challenges that you've overcome. He's had his. And I think that's going to be the theme throughout tomorrow. So I'm super jacked for that. And, it's just one of those things, like sharing that message of, and this is how I put him on today at team meeting, by the way. I'm like, his dad started coaching me in 2017. And I said to Alec, come on up and tell us where you were in 2017. Where were you in 2017?
It's wild. My son wasn't 1 year old yet. I got the crying out in the team meeting.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I know.
I don't think I'm going to cry now.
You're going to fly through it now.
I think I'm good now. I got that. Ripped the Band-Aid off. He was born August 2016. At that time, I was working 3 jobs, struggling really hard just to get by, trying to provide for the future. The situation was so tough where the mother of my child actually had, I don't know if it's Medicare or Medicaid or whatever they call it.
Medicare, probably.
But we had medical support from the government, and we had...
Which meant food stamps
as well. And then when we split up, which we have a great co-parenting relationship now, lots of respect for her, I didn't get to keep the food stamps. And I also was in overwhelm when all that was called off, that I quit all 3 of my jobs at the same time too. So I had no food stamps, I had no government support, and I had no income or jobs. So I was between jobs.
Hence no money.
No money, meaning the cabinets were empty
right.
and there was no food. Yeah. And so I remember vividly my dog and I sharing boxes of cereal. Yeah. And we would sleep on the couch because I was too heartbroken to sleep in the master bedroom.
And here's what's wild about this story, right, is that most people would hear that story and go, yeah, right. I heard that story and say, yeah, I remember doing the same thing because, and by the grace of God, Christian, who's my 25-year-old, was in those moments with me. We freaking ate peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and fed the dogs the crust.
Yep.
Like, that's just what you do, And so,
100%.
So when he shared that story, I'm like, this is just so good because it shows you how far you can come, right? You were flat ass broke at that time. Then things went really south. And by the way, there's a new story that we're going to share with you as well. But then things really went south.
Yeah. I mean, things continued to get worse progressively over years. And the reason why is because this is why. Because, and I take complete ownership. Like, I'm not a victim. I made a lot of mistakes. I've taken personal accountability for all my mistakes. But at that time, I was, this year, I'm 13 years sober from heroin. Okay. Yeah. Most of the people I used to use with are dead now. You're either still using, dead, or in prison, right? And that's just the common theme. I had a friend die a few weeks ago. One that I used to use with, right? So they're still dying.
Yeah.
And there's these levels to this when you're addicted to hard drugs, there's kind of levels of sobriety, which is an interesting thing to say because you're either sober or you're not.
Right.
But we addicts like to tell ourselves that we're sober when we're not. And what that means is we compare down. And by comparing down, I mean they'll get sober off heroin, but now they're alcoholics. And so then they compare down, well, I'm sober off heroin. I'm not doing heroin, right? And then, you know what I mean? And so it's like,
look at that guy doing that. I'm not doing that.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I passed 13 years sober from heroin, but I'm approaching 6 years sober from alcohol. And
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Seriously. How did you get off heroin?
Oh man, it's just a series of misfortunate events. I believe that God allows you to keep experiencing the same test over and over until you pass it, and the test will get increasingly more demanding each time, and that's usually what ends up the test becoming life or death. Seeing people die, overdosing, things like that, and then couch surfing, and like I was raised with a head start, upper middle class, single mom, worked hard, providing for 4 kids. Dad, before his sobriety, wasn't fully present. We have a great relationship now. But like I wasn't in a scenario where I was destined to go down that path.
Right.
I chose that path.
Right.
And so I took it for granted and I fumbled it and I just kept biting the hand that was feeding me. So by the end of it, I was couch surfing because no one trusted me to be around, so quote unquote homeless, not really. I had friends, and I could have stayed home, but the reason I wasn't is because I was unbearable. They didn't want me around, rightfully so. Yeah. And so then my dad basically was into his sobriety by then. And he invited me. He's like, hey, I don't have an extra room, but I have a couch. You can sleep on my couch, but you're going to like do these workouts.
His dad's got some extra rooms, by the way, now.
Now he does. Back then it wasn't like it is now. I saw his whole come up. And he invited me in and I started muscle contests and men's physique.
So you made a switch getting into fitness hardcore.
Yeah. So June 3rd, 2012, I quit heroin and I started dieting and training basically. Yeah. And
do you believe it's true? Like you've got to replace one addiction with like a negative addiction with a positive one?
You have to. Yeah. Or me at least. I can only speak for myself. I don't believe that I can just do elimination. Like I don't believe in elimination. I believe in replacement. And so once an addict, always an addict. I've just chosen to put that focus and energy towards better things. The first
time I got sober when I was 35, and I shared the story with you last night, I watched the ESPN episode on a guy named Todd Crandall. His mother committed suicide, same. He was a goalie in hockey, same. Like all of these parallels, and I became close to Todd. Actually, what I didn't tell you last night, became the best freaking man at my wedding.
I love that.
Crazy, right? From ESPN to Walden Woods and Fenton, best man in my wedding. One of the best men. I had 2 best men. David Jameson, who was the actual best man, but Todd was as well. I forgot where I was going to share with this that story about Todd. Oh, well, he replaced his. He's now done. Chris, you should Google this. How many Ultramans. He started on Ironmans. Now he does Ultramans. And that was the addiction that he replaced it with. And he says wholeheartedly, like, addicts, that personality, that mindset, that trait that we have to have something we're always driving towards.
Yeah.
Which is why in business, we're never satisfied. People think it's the money we're chasing. It's not.
It's the chase. I really genuinely believe this. And I believe there's different types of people that are like characteristically different ways, of course. And everyone does still have the power of choice. But people like us, addicts or recovering addicts, I saw this somewhere. I forget where I saw it, but there's like in the world, there's like dogs, and dogs need affection and they need attention and they need approval and they need you to feed them. And if you feed them, they're good. But if you don't feed them, they die.
Yeah.
And then there's like lions and tigers, and like tigers will have just hunted and killed and ate and they're full. But then a rabbit runs by and they kill the rabbit for the hunt. Not to eat. And so like that's what I believe.
Instinct.
Yeah, off prey drive.
Yeah.
And so, because it's running, and so they chase it and kill it, even though they're not hungry.
Ooh, I love that. They're running so they chase it. We're going to talk about marketing where you don't chase anymore.
Oh yeah, attraction.
Yeah, attraction.
100%. Yeah, and so I just believe that's...
I can't see that far. You can tell me. It's all good.
28 Ironmans, 42 half Ironmans, and 2 Ultramans.
Crazy.
Insane.
Dude's a savage.
Really good work. That's epic. But that's what it is. Yeah. That's what I've seen to be true for people like us who make it out on the other side. There is a better life on the other side of sobriety. Yeah. I do believe, though, that you're still going to have some prey drive and not, it's a blessing and a curse. Like there's dualities to everything.
Yes.
And so just to use it for good more than for harm.
Yeah. Awesome. And so I always, to me, it's like, okay, the business side's great. tell us more about the family, right? You've got AJ here, who's 8. You've got your wife, Shannon.
Beautiful.
And you guys have been married for
3 years now,
years.
about. Yeah, we're approaching 3 years.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. My 8-year-old son is a sober dad. I didn't have that at his age.
Yeah.
I believe in work-life integration because me personally, I'm not good at that balance thing.
Yeah.
So like
I just think that's just a word. It's
I know.
because balance. If you think of like an old school balance, it's 50-50, right? The thing for it to be balanced, it has to be equal. There's nothing equal, and it doesn't matter what you do for a living, let alone if you're a friggin' entrepreneur. There is no balance. You've got to figure out a way to just be in flow with it, and it becomes who you are.
I forget who said it. Maybe it was Dean, but I don't want to misquote my mentor, Dean Graziosi. But someone said balance was made for people who work a 9-to-5 that they hate so they can enjoy life on the weekend.
Ouch. Ouch. You know, a 9-to-5 is one thing, but you should still work a 9-to-5 that
you love.
Yes.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
The one they hate. And so, and I have respect for people who work 9-to-5s. I have respect for the working class man. I have respect. There's a need for it in the world. I have respect. I'm no superior than anyone. But what I've found to be true is that I have to just do integration. What that means is my wife and I run a couple companies together. My son travels with me all over the country to speaking gigs, and I don't separate work from life.
Right. It is your life.
Yeah, my dad told me the best job in the world is to get paid to be who you are.
Ooh, authenticity. It's funny. Damon just sat here. We shot our podcast, and he used 3 words that he talked about over and over and over that are our core values as a company. Right? Authenticity, being authentic is one of our core values. I want people to show up as the highest and best versions of themselves, not of somebody else. To do that, you really got to know who you are.
Yeah.
And I think to know who you are, you got to have faith in Jesus.
I agree.
Because he frees you of that external shell, of that mask that most of the world goes around wearing. And then the willingness to get uncomfortable, like you're not going to grow unless you're willing to get uncomfortable and go where you've not been.
I'd love to say something about that. I believe that people like pray to God or whatever they believe in. I believe in God, and they pray to God and they ask for this thing, and then he gives you, there's this quote, it's like, you pray for the cake, and then you get the batter and the eggs and the pan and all the tools to make it, and then you complain because you didn't get the cake. Oh. And so that's when I was saying sometimes your blessings show up packaged differently than you would have expected, but it's in the way that you needed rather than what you wanted. Yeah. And it's like, go for what you want in life, but be open-minded to what you need.
Yeah. Well, like Damon talked about, like the messenger. You never know who the messenger is going to be or how you're going to hear the message. And that goes back to the journey of stuff, right? Because everybody wants the outcome right away, and they want, what they see on social media, which 90% of it's fake anyway. Yeah. But the journey is the blessing.
It is. It's who you become along the way.
Yeah.
And here's what we were saying too. Authenticity is in alignment with what I believe is the parallel between personal development and professional development. And so what I've found to be true with all the entrepreneurs and leaders that I coach is that there's no such thing as a business problem. There's only a personal problem that shows up in business. And the solution to that is to stop calling your business problems a glass ceiling and start calling them a mirror. And you either choose to avoid to look in that mirror or you run toward that mirror daily. And what I've experienced is that anytime that my professional development, if there were spikes in my business growth that my personal development didn't match up with, I get yanked right back down to planet Earth again and get humbled. You get kicked in the teeth and realize you're not as good as you thought you were, talking to myself. Yes. And then at those times when people get scared because they're avoiding the mirror, they have the batter, they have the eggs, they have the pan, they have all the things, but they don't want to do the work. Yeah. And so in those moments, what I've had to learn to adapt to actually do, like my knee jerk, instead of cowering away, is to double down on personal development, double down on investing financially, even when the money's down, to spend more money on self and business. And then also to always ask myself, what went wrong? What role did I play? How did I create it? What could I do differently? And what system or process could prevent that from happening again? Yeah. And so I'll give you one good example on this one. I know we kind of got off track of the family thing, but this is very inspiring to me. I was at a certain income level, and it happened after years of really struggling for a long time. And it was a new level, and it was a new experience, and every level has its devil. Yeah. And it grew so quickly, but then I started to have more cancels than sales. And so it was growing like a rocket ship. And then about 3 to 5 months in a row, I progressively, even though I would sell every month, could not outsell the cancels.
Got it.
And so it went to a new height, and then I went down 33% over a 5-month period on my monthly recurring revenue. And it was because of cancels. And that's because I didn't build the system, and I didn't have the skill set, and I didn't have I just didn't know how to better handle that big of a responsibility.
Right. And that's that, we were talking about this, like those thresholds that you have to go through. That's a new threshold for you now, right? And it's fight or flight. What are you going to do?
Yep. And so it's the biggest blessing in the world when someone tells you things that they don't like about you, because I love it, actually. This guy, we run a wellness coaching company, and I'll keep it anonymous out of respect for him. And I say this, actually, the guy was a huge blessing in my life.
Yeah.
But he's someone who's respected and powerful, and if I said the name, everyone would know him. And him and his significant other signed up with us for our wellness coaching program. And they went through, it's a 3-month contract, but you just get billed once a month forever until you cancel. Our average client stay is 10 months. And so it's pretty high retention. And the ones who have high retention, we have this standard where they have to send a check and text every day. And the ones who stay long-term and get good results send that daily check and text.
Yeah.
And the ones who don't send that daily check and text
Don't get the results.
and
Sure.
typically cancel sooner, obviously.
Because if they didn't do the shit, they don't want to text you.
Yeah, exactly. And so most coaches check in once a month, once every 2 weeks, or once a week. We put in a daily check-in for that reason, to differentiate ourselves from the marketplace, and to make sure that a client's Monday problem didn't show up on Saturday.
Yeah.
It could be solved before it got worse. And so this client, when he would check in, would get epic results. And then when he would not check in, would come back and be in a worse spot. And then when he would disappear, we'd be busy with the people who are checking in.
Yeah.
And so where a lot of leaders, this applies for real estate leaders, for coaches, for any industry, ego can get in the way, and they'll say things like, oh, I'm not a babysitter. I'm not going to hunt you down to show up. I'm not going to hunt you down to go to the team meeting. I'm not going to hunt you down to your calls. This is a total ego issue with leaders, and it's a massive income limiter too. And so basically he sends me this long drawn out text telling me about, he said good things, but he also said all the things that he didn't like. And the good things he said is, you guys are super educated, you're super competent. When I do check in, you're great, I get results. But when I don't check in, I would think for the amount of money I'm paying you that you would be on my ass.
Me up. Yeah.
And I screenshot it because in that moment I want to be like,
Yeah, I know.
You know,
Yeah.
If you've ever led someone, when they start blaming you for why they didn't do what they agreed to. But I screenshot it and texted it to my dad. And my dad's response was, is it true?
Bro, that's why your dad's epic.
He's the best. And he said, is it true? And I said, yes, thank you. I know what I need to say.
Yeah.
And I replied and I said, you're 100% right. The clients who do check in every day succeed. The clients who don't. It's 100% my responsibility to give you the highest chance of success, and that's why you guys hire us. I appreciate you so much, and more than the money, I appreciate this lesson you just taught me. I am going to add a system. And so now, instead of the daily check and text that's inbound, we send an outbound email to all clients reminding them to check in. The 4 steps explanation that I learned from Jason Fladling. Don't overlook this. It's 4 steps explanation so you can explain anything to anyone.
Yeah.
And people need to hear something 1,000 times or they haven't heard it once. And so I told him once a week I'm going to do this outbound email saying, what is a check-in? Why is it important? What's involved in a check-in and how to do it? And I said I was going to do it once a week, which I wasn't doing. And he goes, nope, I think you need to do it twice a week. Oh, I'm like, this guy said, you're right. I do need to do it twice a week. And I said, you know what, man, so much respect for you, because this will net me hundreds of thousands of dollars in saved revenue from cancels.
Right.
And so I added that system into our business. Every Wednesday, every Saturday, they get an outbound email that reminds them to check in, why to check in, what's involved, how to do it. And then we check who clicks it and opens it. And if someone opens that email, but they don't send the check-in, then we text them.
Yeah. That's it.
And then we went to a whole new income level just from that.
From taking what most people would fight, right? The initial response, we tell that motherfucker, man, And instead, you flip the script, you own it, and you create a new system out of it. It's a beautiful thing.
It's been that's how we built our company. And that's just one example.
Yeah, one example of so many.
But so many.
So let's talk. Well, let's finish off on the family piece,
Okay,
just to close the loop on that, because I don't want to abandon that, because I think that's an important thing for people that are in addiction or in. Because Damon sat right here, a guy in prison said, I never thought, because I asked him about Kendall, his wife, he goes, I never thought a woman would want me again. That hurts, man, But I share that because there is the other side of it, and people need to know about that other side. There's always somebody out there I think people are put on this earth to love us. My wife was delivered 100% by an angel to me at the only right time it could be. I was 35 and got sober for, a 6-month window that I met her in. Had it not been that window, that would have been it. I wouldn't be sitting here right now. So talk to us about Shannon, how you met her, and I think just what she means to you in the role that you play now as a husband, as a father, and a business owner.
Shannon is not. That's the cool part. Is like, well, God will give you something, and maybe something you have prayed for in the past, and maybe it's something you abandon.
Ooh.
Something that you prayed for in a dream you let die. And sometimes he'll give it to you later than expected, and in a different package than expected. And she's what I needed, not what I wanted anymore, because I had abandoned the thought of it because of my own mistakes in the past. No one else. It's my fault. And she showed up, and biggest mistake I made was having this perfect picture of this perfect life I wanted, and then choosing the wrong partners and basically trying to convince them or turn them into this thing or person that they were not.
That you wanted them to be.
Correct. And that's wrong.
Yeah.
I know that's wrong.
Yeah.
That's not
Well, that's
okay.
like trying to get an alcoholic to quit drinking.
Yeah.
Right? Until they're ready to do it, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. And so I know it's wrong. And so then after that, I was just like, well, I'm a single for lifer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I met her, and she was already all those things. And of course, no one's perfect, and everyone has their flaws, myself included. And even Shannon, she's grown a lot through our relationship because we've been able to develop each other.
Yeah.
And but instead of taking someone who's, complete opposite side of spectrum and then trying to pull them all the way across to be on this type of a person, she was just a little off track here and there, but still moving in the same direction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so when we met, we were already rowing in the same direction.
You were each other's bumpers.
Yeah, just slightly off course. And so then we're able to reel each other in to get even more clear on our mission. And so I think above all else, what she is she's the life partner. She's the ally. We're on a mission. It's a war.
And we're going to win.
Yeah, and we're winning. And even if we lose the battles, we'll win the wars. Right. But what it is it's not just a wife or a best friend or a significant other. It's an ally. And I believe that there's so much conflict in the world and conflict in households that you really want to do something big, you need to have an ally in your household.
Yeah.
And we are fighting. It's her and I on the mission against the obstacles
together. Yeah. Well, you said something earlier about personal growth and professional growth, and that's when I started the mastermind. I was really focused on that. Like, I don't want it to just be about business because that doesn't align with my mission. I want to develop people and change lives. That's personal and professional. And you made a really good point, because I believe this totally because it's true. That's why I believe it. It's a fact. It's not a belief. Or I guess it's a belief because it's a fact, but it's not a theory. It's true, right? Is that wherever your personal growth plateaus, your business is going to plateau sooner or later, right? So like your personal growth may be here and you may be able to grow your business here, but you won't be able to sustain it. And the worst part is that then you got something bigger that topples over. When you can grow those two things congruently, and what's been really cool is as the Winner Circle's grown and more people in it and more people involved and more people coming to the mastermind tomorrow, is that you start to hear those people say that same thing. And that's when you know your message is getting through, right? Like they're like, personal and professional development. Like you'll hear these people say all of those things, which is great. But another thing you brought up is about this piece where the mirror versus the glass ceiling. That's so good, because I've got a client right now that's struggling with that, right? Inside of the Winner Circle, the one-on-one coaching that I do. By the way, I have 5 coaches right now, so I'm not just the coach. I am getting coached, and Alec's one of them. Alec, his dad, right? Like keep it in the family.
100%.
But I think that's a really interesting concept. Is it's not a glass ceiling, it's a mirror. And what happens when people hit that mirror is they go into avoidance. And right now, I mean, one of the guys is texting me. He'll be there tomorrow. Is texting me about the next thing he wants to try to do instead of conquering the fucking thing that's stopping him from doing the next thing well. And that's that threshold piece that I was thinking about that I want to share tomorrow is like the glass ceiling. It's not a glass ceiling. It's really a threshold. And the only way to get through the threshold is to do more of that exact same thing. Right? Like if you're in the gym and you're maxed out on bench pressing, which I don't ever bench press, I do CrossFit, but if you're maxed out on bench pressing, you're not going to get better at bench pressing by going and doing sit-ups. You
Correct.
have to do the thing, and most people avoid that thing. How do you get people to just stay in? Because even today in your presentation to the team, it's like, don't go do this thing until you conquer this thing.
Yeah. I don't believe that you can get anyone else to surrender, but I believe surrender is the only path to become. If you're in reluctance, you're not in surrender.
Yeah.
So if you have any reluctance, but distraction, reluctance, whatever it may be, they need to give themselves permission first. If they can go through enough self-discovery, which typically shows up as enough pain to influence a decision where they're like,
right.
well, I don't know what I want to do, but I know I never want to feel this way again. You almost have to, like, people are motivated by different things, but I believe everyone's motivated by two things, either to get away from pain or to get toward pleasure. For me, I think I'm more motivated by getting away from pain. And so I have to burn my hands so hot where I'm like, I'm never going to touch that flame again. Where I'm in straight, like now it's not even like, oh no, I don't do that. Like lukewarm, no, it's like, fuck no, I'm never doing that again. That's where I have to get to go to surrender. And so now I just live in surrender to what's required of me. And so if people can go through enough self-discovery to experience that, and sometimes can be inspired by someone else asking the right questions, so be it. But once the surrender has happened, then if they actually give permission to a leader or coach or mentor, now it's the leader's responsibility not to do for them, but to go into this whole reminder thing. And leaders just massively underestimate how many reminders are required for a human being to actually retain information, and not just retain it, but then to actually program it in their mind where it becomes their own thoughts and their own words out of their own mouth.
Just like the people in the winner circle saying personal and professional growth. That told me I've reiterated it enough and said the same message, because that's like you say, right? Reiteration is so important and of the same message.
Has to be.
And so like today, he was on our agent side. We're here at my office, Wentworth Real Estate, and teaching about marketing. And that reiteration point is so important. But leaders abandon that because they start to feel like, oh my God, I'm saying the same thing over and over. And when people say to me, hey, are you going to talk about the core values again this week? I go, you're fucking right, I am. Because it's the most important thing in this building.
Have to.
And so, it's like, and by the way, I think for people listening, like, you got to remember, you put 100 people in a room and you share a very specific message. Some of them got it, some of them didn't. The very next day, the same 100, the other people's going to get it that didn't get it. The very next day, nobody's going to hear the shit. Like, you've got to reiterate these things over.
They consciously forgot everything you said, and they only remember how you made them feel.
But I just realized, well, not that I just realized this, but I want to make sure that people get this, is the reason leaders stop doing it is because they don't even believe in it. And if you don't believe in it, like Andy Frisell, I'll never forget, he said this. He's like, it's not about people believing what you tell them. It's about them believing that you believe what you're telling them.
Yeah. Well, and here's what I would say is the teacher learns twice.
Yeah.
And so the reason leaders abandon it is because they aren't teaching it enough. And so literally if they reiterate it and repeat it enough, then they learn it more. Yeah. And it increases retention of the leader. So, like, if you set it to 10 different people or on 10 different platforms, 10 different times and 10 different days, you're more likely to believe it and buy into it because you're programming yourself. Right. Even if it was only one time to 10 different people, you still experienced it 10 times. And so by abandoning it, that's where they damage their own belief. And so if you stick true to the leader, that solves the self-belief thing. Is like, I have confidence because I have a track record of when I say I'm going to do something, I actually do it. And then I do it again and again and again. Yeah. And so what I would say is for a really healthy exercise for any leader is to make two lists on a piece of paper. And one list is a pet peeve list. This one's long. Whenever I say it, this one's always long, right? And then the second list is like nothing, but I'm going to help with this exercise. First list is the pet peeves. So if you're a team leader, the pet peeves of your agents.
Yeah.
List every single thing they do that you cannot stand. If you're an agent, the pet peeves of your clients and consumers, buyers and sellers. Long list of everything they do that you can't stand. If you're a coach, same thing.
Yep.
Just pet peeves of other people's behaviors who you lead.
Yep.
Okay? And everyone always goes all day on this one. And then I go, okay. Now on the other list, call it reminders. Now show me every single post, every single text, every single email, every single video, every single in-person training, every single webinar training that you've done in the past 30 days
That addresses those things.
that does the 4 steps explanation to actually solve each pet peeve.
Yeah.
Not just one of them, but each. So pet peeve number 1, fitness coach could say, my clients don't do check-ins. In the last 30 days, show me how many posts, how many emails, how many outbound texts, how many videos you've done addressing what is a check-in, why is it important, what's involved, and how to do it to get a result.
So good. So good. Same thing with a buyer, a seller, whatever it may be, that constant reminder over and over and over that you know and believe in well enough to be willing to repeat it over and over. Because if you're not willing to repeat it, you don't believe it.
Nope.
You know? That's so good. I love that one. So good.
Dude, that alone would blow people's businesses up and get their people into action.
Dude, today they came in last night, stayed the night. By the way, tonight we got Damon staying the night. We got Ben Van Sumeren, Super Bowl champion, staying the night. Garen flies in today too, doesn't he? Yeah, Garen staying the night. I mean, holy cow. All these speakers staying at our house, and I want to thank you for that, and I mean that, because it means the world to me to be able to provide that experience for your family rather than put you in a damn hotel, right? Like,
Yeah, it's epic.
and not everybody wants to do that. I get that, but maybe it's even outside of some people's comfort zone, so I really appreciate when they do it, because it fulfills me to be able to have you guys come in and stay the night and get AJ on the boat and all that
So
stuff.
cool.
You know, so good.
So cool.
But what I was thinking of, why I share that is we got up, came to the gym this morning, and after we work out every morning, we read the Jesus Calling book, you know, and I mean, it just like basically slapped us both across
Both
the face
of
today.
us.
I mean, it just talked about 3rd, 4th, and 5th generation. And of course, we relate that back to our families and changing the generations. As you said, AJ
Yeah.
now has, being 8 years old, has a sober father. I didn't have a sober father. Christian didn't have a sober father, right? In the very next room. Rocco didn't have a sober father until now.
Yeah.
And what an impact that has on them moving forward. So let's just talk about that a little bit, like, because I think there's a responsibility now that we have rather
It's
than
an obligation to speak up.
100%.
Yeah. It'd be morally and ethically wrong for us not to speak up. To the tune of when life gets really good, it's easy to forget, and people are like, oh, it's in the past, it's water under the bridge. I believe you should leave your greatest challenges and moments of greatest darkness visible at all times on the horizon to remind you. And so I kind of put this thing, because marketing is how marketing's like therapy, bro, really.
yeah.
I mean, it is repeated exposure of a concept until it's ingrained in your brain. I mean, that's what marketing is and branding is. And so, like, my hard rule is don't ever go a week without talking about sobriety. Don't ever go a week without talking about. So that week you could have changed someone's life.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because I kind of, not that I struggle with it, because I'm an open book, but I always do this. Like, if I want to surprise somebody, I'm like, oh, I got to wait till the last second to even pull the shit off to surprise them, because I don't even want anybody else to know. And so instead of me posting more often about my sobriety, I'm like, I'm going to wait till it's 2 years. And then I'm like, no, I'm robbing somebody of the ability to hear it, so then I'm posting once a month about it. I need to just talk about more in general.
Don't ever go a week
Yeah,
without it.
yeah.
Don't ever.
Love
That's
that.
what I tell myself. You do what you want, but I
I love it.
suggest
I'm on the train.
Yeah, as my marketing client, I suggest it to you. It's really powerful. And here's what I would say. You know, my dad's dad died when he was around 6, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. He was an alcoholic. Then my dad struggled with alcoholism for the majority of his life. He's sober now, long term. Love him for that. And I was deep into my addictions too. But I got out early enough where now my 8-year-old son has a sober dad. And so it's like, I genuinely believe that your mission in some way, shape, or form should be tied to closing loops from your childhood.
Yeah.
100%. So, like, we're having core childhood experiences and memories with my son right now.
Yes.
Ones that I never got to
Never
have.
had.
You know what I mean? And so then I'm grateful for you, too. For,
Yeah.
like, you hired me, and you're like, AJ, you coming? Like right away. You know what I mean? You just insisted, and it's epic. I think it's the best thing ever for him.
Yeah. It's so good for him. I mean, listen, sit in a room and listen. I mean, listen, a lot of people would be like, oh, an 8-year-old shouldn't hear that. Yeah, they should.
Yes, he should.
Because let me tell you something. They're hearing it whether you think it or not. They're just, you get to control who they hear it from. So an 8-year-old shouldn't hear a guy talk about being in prison. Yeah, they should.
They should.
I mean, how powerful is that
yes,
for him to hear
should.
that today? Now, some of it probably went in one ear, out the other, but the little bits that he caught are going to be core experience that he's going to have that he's going to carry for the rest of his
100%.
life. You know, so that's huge.
I love it.
Talk to us about marketing. That's why we're here. You know, you've been doing personal coaching for a long time.
13 years.
Excuse me, wellness personal coaching.
13 years.
13 years.
8 years broke. So year 1 through 8 struggled a lot financially, like a lot. Maybe I need to get a real job. That level, you know, just down bad. But that also was in alignment with my sobriety journey and getting the personal life thing. And so then years 8 through 11 did okay for the first time in my life financially. And then year 11 launched a startup company. And then that one really took my life to a whole new stratosphere. Launched that one. 2 years later after that one, launched the marketing coaching company. And just based off, here's what I've done, here's how I've done it, and it's universal across all industries. Mm-hmm. You've seen our family prove it across coaching, across wellness, across events, across mortgage now, across tech, and it's just universal. And I genuinely believe that through these organic marketing principles, people are going to be able to give their families experiences that they could not give without it.
Yeah.
Right? Like my sister, the medical bills for her heart surgeries are massive.
Oh, yeah.
My father's the insurance because insurance doesn't cover all of it so far. My son is going to be put in the #1 private school in the city.
Let me go back to your dad on the insurance, right?
Yeah.
Because before I even knew you, I remember your dad and I having conversations about that, you know, and he used that knowing, honestly, almost knowing that this moment was going to come years later, where he said, I'm never going to be in a position financially where I can't provide her for whatever she needs for her heart surgery. Mm-hmm. Like, he used that as a driver. Instead of hiding from it, instead of like, man, I hope it never happens, he's like, no matter what happens, financially, I'm going to be able to handle that. Mm-hmm. And that's where he's at right now. And it's just
it's beautiful.
It's powerful, man.
It's beautiful.
I was with your dad also one time in Seattle, Washington, and he, you know, openly, I talk about things that people share openly. I'm not going to share anybody's laundry, but we're walking from the hotel to the creative cabin, Keith Krantz. Did you remember Keith Krantz?
That's funny shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know you knew Keith.
Oh, yeah.
That's funny.
And your dad's telling me about this IRS problem he's got.
Yeah.
To the tune of millions of dollars.
I know. And we're not hating. He talks about it publicly.
Well, exactly. That's why I share it, because it's a beautiful thing, right? Again, it's one of those things where instead of avoiding it, he attacks it. And I think that's like, I look to that. I'm like, okay, how do I attack what's in front of me? Because most people go into avoidance, which is the same thing we talked about earlier with the guy that I'm coaching in this particular thing, or the other people that we reach the glass ceiling or the mirror.
100%.
People go into avoidance. What is that about?
Man.
Is it solely about responsibility, or is it fear?
Well, people say people only feel 2 emotions, love and fear.
Yeah.
So everything's rooted in fear.
Yeah.
You know, and the love got to be greater than the fear. And he loves his daughter more than he was afraid of the debt.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
He loves his daughter more than he was afraid of the work required.
Yeah.
I mean, if we want to go to the most simple, actionable, like, you know, you say you love your kids, you love your family, you love it. Do you? Like, how much do you them? Like, how much do you love them?
Right.
Enough to surrender to whatever it takes to make sure that you're able to provide for them in every shape and form, you know?
Let's talk about, because you and I talked about this a little bit. We talk about the surrender piece, and then we also talk about the sacrifice piece.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Because so many times, especially as entrepreneurs, people will say, you know, I just don't want to sacrifice, or how much do you have to sacrifice, or what about are you missing out on your kids, this or that? And I kind of use the example of like, so my example was, you know, I left work for 3 days, flew to Knoxville, surprised Dahlia at her national dance competition. the sacrifices that I made when she was 3, 4, 5.
I know.
Did I miss some shit? Sure.
Yeah, of
But
course.
she doesn't remember that. She sure as hell remembers that I surprised her when she's 14 years old in Knoxville, Tennessee.
I know. And I could tie it back to marketing too, because that's where we were going, but I'll talk about this first in the direct form. You brought it up. One of my marketing clients, Dustin Runyon, says, your sacrifice list better be longer than your wants list.
Amen.
It's like people start a company because they want to work less. And then even Alex Hormozy says, like, if you're off balance with your work-life balance in the short term, then you'll spend more of your life on balance with work-life balance later.
Yeah.
Like as far as years.
Yes.
Yeah,
for
so if you
sure.
cram in enough years off balance at first, later on you're going to have more years of balance at the end.
Yeah. Yeah. And balance is just choices.
Right.
Really and truly.
Yeah.
What are the choices that you're going to make in any given day?
Yeah.
The
And
options that you have.
And dude, I missed most of my son's first stuff too.
Yeah.
But then I got it together, and now, respectfully, with no court order between us, I have a great co-parenting relationship, and I have my son full time.
Yeah.
Because it's what's best for him, and we both agreed.
Yeah.
And she'll still see him every week, and
Yeah.
she'll see him whenever she wants, and we're cool. We're tight. But I missed all those first things, and now because I missed all those first things, now I built a life and business where I don't have to miss anything.
Where he's here with us right now.
He's literally here with us. But if I didn't miss all those first things, I wouldn't have became who I needed to become. I wouldn't.
None of you'd be here.
No, I wouldn't have built what I
Right,
needed to build.
right.
And now, full time, dude.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
When you frame it that way, it's no longer a sacrifice.
No,
It's an investment.
I'm getting way more from it now than I would have if I was there for it all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Give us 3 principles in marketing.
It's only 3. If I could only teach you 3 things, guarantee you get a result. It's build the right audience, share the right message, and commit to your ideal customer journey, which is, you could call it a to Z proven path to success. Like my client, Tony Hansen, calls it. Someone who, I think they did like 2,000 transactions last year.
Yeah.
Probably someone you want to listen to. A to Z proven path to success. Or you just call it your sales funnel.
Yeah.
I mean, let's call a spade a spade.
But people think about audience and they think about massive numbers.
Right. Yeah. So notice I said build the right audience,
Yeah.
not a big audience.
If you have a big audience, that's okay.
great.
If they're the right people.
It's great. Yeah.
But
yeah.
this goes back to, if I may, right? Like, if you try to be everything to everyone, you have
be
nobody to
nothing for
no one. And if you build a massive audience, but they're the wrong audience, it doesn't do you any good, and it doesn't allow you to show up as the authentic version of yourself. Or you built the wrong audience because you weren't able to show up as the true version of yourself, and so you have a bunch of phonies because you were a phony.
Correct. So yeah, building the right audience, to me, I have a really small audience. I have
You got like 4,900. Yeah.
That's it. And we've run a 7-figure coaching company, so didn't need a big audience for that. Just need the right one.
Yeah.
And we only have I have to pull up the CRM, but less than 3,000 leads
Yeah.
in my CRM.
Yeah.
But they were all done organically. And it was all handpicked, and it was very curated, and it was very fabricated, and it was very planned.
Yeah.
And it was controlled.
Tell them the 3 principles again.
It's build the right audience, share the right message, and commit to your sales funnel.
Love it.
Let's
Love
just
it.
call
And
it
you've got a download they can get, right?
Yep. So you can get my free marketing download and subscribe to my email list, which I highly suggest you do, at www.cheplak, CHEPLAK, marketing, so all one word, cheplakmarketing.com/download. Again, www.cheplakmarketing.com/download.
Love it. Love it. Love it. We're going to have a big day tomorrow. We got a big another VIP dinner tonight. The mastermind tomorrow. It's going to be epic, and hopefully we get some lake time.
I'm down. Let's go. I'm excited.
Brother, I love you, man. Thank you so much for being on with us today. Thank you for sharing. I'm sure we'll have you on again. I'm sure we'll have you in town again. And we'll just keep developing people, changing lives, and giving back what we've been blessed to receive and impacting people.
Yeah, thank you so much, man.
Love it,
I
bro.
appreciate it.
I'll be okay. I'll be okay.